Apple has just announced a surprise May the 7th event, despite Mark Gurman stating that there won't be an event. It does, however, line up with Mark's prediction of week commencing May the 6th for when we'll actually get his new iPads. And judging by this invite alone, it is really clear that this is going to be an iPad-focused event. In fact, even Tim Cook tweeted a hint at this. Of course, the two big announcements are expected to be the new iPad Airs and the new iPad Pros. There are 12 big changes to expect, and I want to start off with the one that we've never really talked about before, right after our sponsor, Paperlike. Paperlike Screen Protector offers your iPad the ultimate note-taking and drawing experience, whilst also keeping your display protected. Using their own nanodot technology for great clarity, you get a natural paper texture, resistance, and even sound. Just listen to this. Paperlike feels so much better than your iPad's glossy display, so check them out by using the link below. Okay, so onto the 12 major iPad Pro changes. The first one might actually be bigger than all the rest, and that is AI. We know that iOS 18 is introducing some major new AI features, from a completely revamped version of Siri to tons of on-device AI tools in both iOS itself and Apple's own apps. So it is pretty much a no-brainer that those features would also be coming to iPadOS, and probably in iPadOS 18, as Apple seems to have started this big push towards AI. So despite Apple delaying some iPadOS features in the past by 1 year compared to iOS, I do think that we'll see a lot, if not all, the iOS 18 AI features in iPadOS 18 too, which in turn would make this new iPad Pro update far bigger than we might have expected. Because you see, I believe that these AI features would not only be better on iPadOS in general, but that some will be restricted to this new version of the iPad Pro. So when it comes to why these features will be better on iPadOS, I think it boils down to screen space. I believe that most of these upcoming AI features will be very similar to what we've already seen from other manufacturers, like being able to summarize a long piece of text, or being able to transcribe a meeting in real time, or being able to take an image from your gallery to reframe it or to extend it, with the AI generating the empty space. These are all classic AI use cases that almost all AI models are using today. And these work great on a phone. But on a tablet where you have a lot more screen space, these will work even better, especially since iPadOS lets you use 2 apps at the same time. So for example, let's say that you're in a team meeting in person while on a video call with someone from Spain. You can have the video call on one half of the iPad's display, with the AI automatically translating your meeting into Spanish for the other person to hear in real time, while on the other side of the display, the iPad could be transcribing your meeting into text and then also summarizing it for the rest of your team afterwards. This is just one example. And remember when I said that some of these features might be restricted to the new iPad Pros only? Well, that's because of the second new change, which is the M3 chip. The M3 chip is nothing new, we've had it since November of 2023, but what's truly unique about it is that aside from the hardware-based ray tracing, it's also got that very powerful neural engine, which Apple already claimed that it made the M3 Air the best laptop for AI. So it's pretty clear that the M3 chip would be crucial when it comes to allowing these AI features to work. Not only that, but the M3 also runs cooler, and it is also more power efficient than the M2. When Apple updated the MacBook Air to the M3 version, they actually claimed the exact same battery life. But from my usage with the M3 model, I can say that it is actually a bit better. Not by much, maybe only by 30 to 40 minutes, but it is better. And when I'm using the M3 Air in power saving mode, I'm literally not noticing any performance downgrades. So Apple could theoretically clock the M3 chip inside these iPad Pros lower and then give us an even better battery life on these M3 models, which would be the third improvement. And even if we still get the same 10 hours of battery life here, like we've had on all the previous models, it's already been leaked that the battery cycle count reading will be coming to the new iPad Pros, as well as the ability to see the battery health, something that we were just not able to do before on any of the other iPad models. But probably the most anticipated change is going to be that new display. You probably already know that the 2024 iPad Pros will be switching to an OLED display from the LCD on the 11-inch and the Mini LED on the 12.9-inch. And this won't just be any OLED panel, but rather a dual layered one, with some truly impressive brightness levels, very likely with a 1600 nit peak brightness, which is the maximum that we can currently get on the 12.9-inch Mini LED iPad Pro, if not even higher than that. Which means that these new iPad Pros will literally have the very best displays that Apple makes on any of their devices. Not only that, but we're also said to have the option to get a nano-coated version of that display, similar to Apple Studio Display and the Pro Display XDR for reduced reflections. Personally, I'm not really a fan of matte coatings as they do add this grainy texture to the screen, which does reduce clarity. Plus, if you really want a matte display, why should you pay Apple $200 extra, or whatever the price is going to be, when you can just get the paper-like screen protector, which, like I said at the start of the video, also gives you more resistance for when you're using the Apple Pencil. So this is definitely a weird change if it does happen. Another display option is said to be when it comes to the bezels. The bezels are said to be thinner on both models, possibly resulting in larger screen sizes too, 11.1 inch and 13 inch. And the body is also getting thinner. The lead CAD models showed a significantly thinner design that was 13.5% thinner on the 11-inch and 21.8% thinner on the 12.9. Of course, this is only made possible by those super thin OLED displays, which means that holding these iPads in the hand is going to feel pretty surreal as they're already incredibly thin. Plus, a thinner body also means that the weight is going to be decreased too, which I think is going to be even more noticeable on that 12.9-inch model, which was quite heavy, especially when attached to a keyboard. And speaking of the Magic Keyboard, this is also said to be getting a big upgrade. And before that, a quick update on our iPhone 15 giveaway. In case you don't know, this is happening on our brand new Discord, where you can learn all the details on how to enter. Week 1 has now passed, and we are now in week 2, which is the submission stage. We've already had a ton of great submissions from you guys. These right here are some of my personal favorites, especially this one from Pratik, which shows a painting apparently made by himself of a rural scenery. So good luck to everyone. And I should also mention that yesterday, we've also launched our 7th new wallpapers pack, Alien Aesthetics by Chatham, which is an absolutely gorgeous minimal pack with an alien spin to it. We've got 10 stunning designs all in 8K, with this one being my personal favorite. So check out Alien Aesthetics in our app Wallpapers for iOS and Android. And now back to the Magic Keyboard. The original version was introduced back in 2020. This new version is said to be specifically made for this new version of the iPad Pro, and it is said to include a metal back to make it look even more like a MacBook when in use. The top of it is still said to have some sort of fabric material, probably to still retain some extra level of comfort, and the trackpad is also said to be getting larger, which was indeed quite small, especially on the 11-inch model. Which means that the way the mechanism allows for the iPad to tilt will likely be redesigned in order to allow for the keyboard to then be pushed further back, which in turn will make that larger trackpad possible. And with this, we are also said to be getting a brand new Apple Pencil, considering that the current Apple Pencil was released back in 2018 with this previous iPad Pro redesign. Now, there are a couple of rumored changes here. One is said to be a new squeeze gesture that either replaces the current double tap or simply works alongside it, giving us an extra customizable action, while the other was said to be magnetic tips of different shapes, sizes, and textures that can then be easily swapped out for an enhanced drawing experience. Now, there was one more feature rumored, which was a sensor on the tip of the pencil, which would allow us to sample a color or even a texture from the real world. Although that was only mentioned in an Apple patent and we haven't really heard anything about it since, so I don't think that this is going to happen anytime soon. But something that is going to happen are the new cameras. The Face ID and front camera systems are set to be repositioned into a landscape orientation, which would make video calling far more natural for when you're also using the keyboard. And then the back cameras are more than likely going to be upgraded too. There haven't really been any specific leaks on these, but at the same time, we haven't really had any upgrades since 2018. Like, we still have the same main sensor. The ultralight was, of course, introduced in 2020, but no upgrades there since either. Now, MagSafe is also to be coming to these new iPads. After all, we do have MagSafe on not just the iPhones, but the AirPods too. And of course, the MacBooks and the Apple Watch have their own version of magnetic charging. Although, with the iPads, I do expect a type of MagSafe that is either identical or very similar to the ones on the iPhones, as this would allow us to mount our iPads in our cars and use them for navigation, maybe even as CarPlay screens. Plus, the current MagSafe iPhone accessories would then work too, at least the charging ones. Okay, and the very last change is going to be the price. Since we're getting so many changes here, it's a no-brainer that these new iPad Pros are going to be more expensive than the current models. The rumors are pointing towards a $160 price increase, which would bring the 11-inch to $949, from 800, and then the 12.9 to probably 1249 from 1100. Of course, I'm assuming that the new keyboard and the new pencil would be more expensive too, so if you do plan on getting those accessories as well, these new iPads will cost you an absolute fortune. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Are you planning on upgrading to these new iPad Pros, or are you simply happy with your current model? Personally, I don't know. I think I'm happy with my 2018, but we'll see. Don't forget about our iPhone 15 giveaway, details on our Discord. I'm Daniel, ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.